as we have seen, there is progress, change is happening, but what about scalability? How can we really bring about transformation, given the enormity of the challenges at hand on climate and other issues? We will now look into the last section of the report on pathways for the future, exploring the issues of leadership, collaboration, and also on what we call the value drivers, the world of finance, educators, civil society, trade unions. And I want to invite back to the stage Henrik to share with us the next presentation. I think a video is supposed to play now, right?
We have made important progress towards a sustainable, inclusive economy. Yet a gulf still remains between where the system is today and where it needs to be. Leaders must focus on the opportunities and untapped markets sustainable business brings. We need better, future-focused regulation. Financial markets must re-gear towards long-term value, and consumers need to hold business to account. We need to inspire action and measure growth and prosperity beyond GDP. We need leaders who dare to challenge the status quo and set humanity on the best path towards the future.
Henrik, you have done this enormous assessment and looked into the future with a crystal ball, with an analytical crystal ball. What, in your view, are the most promising steps to be taken next?
Yes, of course, it's a much more daunting task to look into the future than to analyze the past. But to succeed, we need radical transformation on many levels. And as we say in the report, that radical transformation may be considered, you can call it creative destruction by some, but that is necessary to go forward. And you just saw on the screen the three broad pathways that we have defined. The first pathway we call sustainability is the business of business. 15 years ago, you would have said business is the business of business. But we believe moving forward, sustainability is the business of business. And it must be part of daily business for all, embedded in business models and long-term goals. And through this, we must make sure that we add value to society. You saw the second pathway called breaking down barriers and energizing positive drivers. So that pathway describes how we can enable conditions to speed up change. It's a matter of better and smarter governance and regulations, and providing the right directional support and shifting investor practices. And the third pathway we called New Thinking for a New Reality. So we hope to really, and we believe that everybody should inspire change by showcasing new opportunities and sustainable solutions. And that we should really demonstrate businesses ready for the transformation. So these are the three pathways you will find in the report. And 15 years from now, I hope we have been correct in some of the estimates, but for sure it's not an easy task. One thing in the report is also about how many companies do we really need to change things. So I would like to ask you, George, so we believe that a small percentage of companies are leading, but change in general are slow and incremental in most areas. So I maybe very directly, Geo, so how many stakeholders do you believe is necessary to really drive the change?
That's probably the most difficult question of all, because tipping point thinking, transformation thinking doesn't give us a clear answer. No. But there are many pathways which you outlined. The Secretary General gave us a goal of 20,000 by 2020 to have the idea of critical mass. Currently, 8,000 companies sounds big. It is at some level, but consider there are 50,000 publicly listed companies and tens of millions of medium-sized, still a long way to go, many fence-sitters. So this is what we have to explore through the pathways. But let me ask you, you said there are three pathways, but if you read the report, actually there is quite a sophistication behind each of which. So given that we can only do certain things at one point in time, what do you think are the most important next steps?
Yeah, thank you for that question, George. So let me address it maybe on behalf of the business sector, because I think the business sector, like no other, can contribute with human and with financial capacity and with technology and innovation. And businesses can urge governments to enact policies that support sustainable development. And one example you already heard a few times is to establish a price on carbon. Also, business can support responsible investments, and I think business should also request governments to stop absurd subsidies because they hinder progress. Gender equality is a really critical part of the solution, and we will really see a multiplier effect if we invest in education and economic empowerment and securing women's rights. But it's very much about leaders across all domains to take responsibility and to commit in co-investing in the societies we operate in. And for me, that also entails paying taxes to the communities where we operate and where we make our profits, and to stop any offshoring of environmental and social responsibilities to less regulated markets. And if we do this, I think we in business can demonstrate true business statesmanship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henrik. Thank you very much.